Hey everyone, this is FaZe and welcome to my channel. So I've been using the iPhone 16 Pro Max for a couple weeks now, and in today's video, I'm going to give you my honest thoughts. So the first thing that I want to talk about this new iPhone is its design. It is a beautiful looking phone, and it shares the design language that was first introduced with the iPhone 12, where Apple decided to make the iPhone more angular, and that is a look and feel that I personally really like. I prefer the edgier design over the more rounded iPhones that we saw previously before the iPhone 12. And of course, with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, Apple made slight enhancements to that design where they slightly curved the corners and introduced titanium. It made the device feel a lot lighter than stainless steel. You got less smudges. So I really liked the fact that they were going with titanium. It was also much more durable as well. With the 16 Pro Max, you also get that same titanium design. This time it's a little more refined and it's grade 5 titanium, so it's even more durable than ever before. And of course, it's got the same dynamic island that was introduced with the iPhone 14 Pro series. It also has the action button that was introduced last year. And this year, they added an all-new button called Camera Control, and I kind of have mixed feelings on it. So it's a button, regardless of how Apple likes to market it. It is a button, and it operates as both a shutter and a slider. It's a capacitive area that's also clickable, and a light press allows you to shuffle through different settings for the slider. A hard press takes a snap, or you can hold it in to record video. Swiping across will modify the currently selected setting like exposure, zoom, or the bokeh intensity. Also, it's a camera shortcut button as well, so you just press it and the app opens up instantly. And it's positioned right here on the right side of the frame. And to be honest, I don't know what I really think about it, because if I'm trying to take a picture, I feel like it's still more natural for me to just do things on the screen if I want to zoom in and stuff. And at the same time, if I'm trying to take pictures in portrait, right? If it's great when it's in landscape, but when I want to take it in portrait, it's not the most ergonomic placement. And this is interesting coming from Apple because they're all about design and ergonomics. So maybe Apple just wants to push us towards taking more videos and pictures in landscape, but let's be honest here, nowadays more than ever before, we're taking more images and videos in that portrait mode. And I don't know how this is to use in that scenario. If I want to change things up, I would much rather just do it on the screen. It does make for a nice shutter button, but once again, for what Apple is marketing it for, I don't know if I like it as that. Apple did say they're going to come out with a software update that will have more enhancements to camera control, but in its current state, I'm not finding a lot of use out of it. If you have the new iPhone 16, comment below, let me know, if you're liking camera control or not, because I feel like I might be in the minority here to say that I don't really care too much about it. And another thing that Apple did this year is they did make the phone a little wider and a little taller. That's because Apple has now increased the screen size. So before, the iPhone 15 Pro Max was a 6.7-inch display, and now Apple is giving you a 6.9-inch screen with the new 16 Pro Max. And to be honest, when you first look at it, it's not that apparent, but the moment you start using the device, you instantly realize that difference. Though it's not a big difference, it's definitely a difference that is absolutely welcome because I like larger screens. And what's really nice that Apple has done is that they're giving you a larger screen, but they're not giving you a much larger device. In fact, the overall body or footprint of this is very similar to the 15 Pro Max because Apple is relying on narrowing down the bezels to give you that larger screen. So like I said, yes, it's a little taller and a little wider, but to be honest, you're not going to notice that. So overall, from a design perspective, the phone is nearly identical to, like I said, the 15 Pro Max. And that's not a bad thing. That was a beautiful phone. This is a great refinement to that. But if you were to see them side by side, you would not be able to tell the difference at all. Now, in terms of colors, we get the iPhone 16 Pro Max in black titanium, white titanium, natural titanium, and desert titanium. I saw all the colors in the store, and to be honest, the new desert titanium is nice. It's just not my vibe. I personally really like the white titanium. I think it looks really clean. So that's the color that I went for. Now let's talk about performance. The new 16 Pro Max has the new Apple A18 Pro chip, and it comes with a 6-core GPU to power the device. And Apple specifically stated that the improved thermals of the new iPhones will ensure at least 20% better sustained performance. And of course, Apple showcased how playing games on the new iPhone is better than ever before. The performance overall is the best ever, but to be very honest, every year Apple is improving the performance. And if you're playing a game, you're not going to find a difference. The way you played a game on the 15 Pro Max, heck, the way you play a game even on the 14 Pro Max is absolutely fantastic. So yes, the performance keeps increasing, but the previous iPhones were no slouch. However, I will say that the performance will make a difference in one key area, and that's Apple Intelligence. And unfortunately, Apple Intelligence is not available yet, which is interesting because everywhere you look, Apple is marketing the new iPhone 16 and the Pro series as devices that were built for Apple Intelligence. And they're really marketing the new AI features that they're introducing, but they're not on the device yet. So I'm kind of upset with Apple for launching a product and really marketing it for certain features and not even giving it to the users, and instead promising that it's going to come in future updates. Granted, in a few weeks from now, that's all going to change, but kind of disappointed that you don't have Apple Intelligence right from the get-go. So Apple Intelligence is coming, and the A18 Pro chip is definitely going to handle all of that processing power. But here's the thing. Apple is saying that the iPhone 16 and the 16 Pro are built for Apple Intelligence, but Apple Intelligence is also going to work with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. In fact, all of the Apple Intelligence features that I just mentioned will be coming if you have an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max. Just wanted to let you know that, because with Apple's marketing, they're making it seem like it's very exclusive just to the 16 series. That is not the case. So if that's the reason you're trying to upgrade to the iPhone 16 or 16 Pro series, you may want to hold off. Next, let's talk about battery life. And to be honest, that's something I'm really happy about with this phone. It has incredible battery life. Now, with a slightly bigger iPhone Pro Max, you also get a slightly bigger battery, and you get a 4,685 milliamp hour battery. It's the biggest battery ever on an iPhone. I can confidently say that for some people, not everyone, but for some people, this could be the perfect 2-day phone. For me, I use this way too much, and I use a lot of it in its processing power, so I still have to charge it every night. But the amount that I would have to charge it, the previous iPhones versus this one, it's a night and day difference. So like if I go to bed and this one is at like 21%, the 15 Pro Max is probably at like 8%. So I am noticing a huge difference between the battery life between the 15 Pro Max and the 16 Pro Max. And I really enjoy that. I don't have to plug this in as much during the day. It just works beautifully. Now let's talk about the cameras. So we get the same main 48 megapixel camera. It was great then and it's great now as well. The 12 megapixel zoom camera still comes with that 5x tetra prism lens. And now we get a 48 megapixel ultra wide camera. That makes a huge difference. So the overall quality that I'm seeing in the ultra wide shots and also macro shots is noticeably better than the previous year's iPhones. Now, is it something that I would call a game changer? Absolutely not. And one thing that I always hate to talk about every year with the new iPhone's cameras is that they all look good. I mean, if I took a picture, and I actually took a picture with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I took the same picture with the iPhone 16 Pro Max, you would not be able to tell which one is which. In fact, I showed the same pictures to my friends and family and asked them, which one do you think is the 15 Pro Max and which one do you think is the 16 Pro Max? They couldn't tell the difference. It's very similar. Obviously, if you start zooming in, then yeah, maybe you can start seeing a little bit of a difference, but to most people, they're not going to see a difference at all. So more than taking pictures, what's really exciting for me this year was the enhancement that they made with the video camera. Because for the first time ever, you are now able to record 4K at 120 frames per second. That is a lot of frames that you can slow down at super high res. It's amazing. But I think for all aspiring vloggers and filmmakers, it's really cool to use that because you get a very cinematic look and feel. And what I'm really excited about, and I think a lot of content creators are going to be excited about this as well, is that you can now film a video without wearing a mic. Obviously, you should still wear a mic, but if you decide, if you're somewhere and you don't have a mic on you and you want to, film something of you talking, it's really cool because of the audio mix. You're able to filter out and process voices from a recorded video. Basically, it seems to also record audio metadata and directional information, so you can edit out background noises or even do some slight mastering to make all voices within the shot to sound if they are centered position, which is very movie-like. And there's this really cool studio option as well. So if I'm just speaking to my phone and I don't have my mic on me, If I use that studio option, it'll legit sound as if I have a mic on. All right, guys, so here is a quick demo of the audio mix feature. As you can probably tell, I don't have a mic on and I'm just speaking directly to the camera. And this is how it sounds when it's just standard. And this is how it sounds with the audio mix feature turned on with the studio option. And as you can tell, it sounds pretty good. It sounds great. Obviously, it does depend on the location you're at and how much reverb you're experiencing, but it works pretty great, especially in enclosed spaces. Also, you get photographic styles, and so now you have more control over how styles act, and you can adjust vibrancy on per color basis. So basically, I call that like advanced filters, and to be honest, they're pretty great. I didn't use them too much because I just wanted to test out the camera for the way it is, but it's good to know that you have these advanced filters and you can have, precise accuracy in the precision of the way you want the colors to turn out. So in conclusion, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is a great iPhone, but in terms of updates, year over year, I would say this year it's kind of a boring update. And, we've reached the peak of smartphones now. I feel like smartphone makers can only do so much when it comes to hardware. And I think all the focus should now be on software. But if that same software can be received on previous generation iPhones, then is it even a real need to update? And I think if you have the iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, then there's no real reason to upgrade to the 16 Pro Max. But once again, I think we're going to that point now where we've reached peak iPhone. There's only so much that can be done with the hardware, and all eyes are now on Apple Intelligence. And I think a lot of great AI features are going to come. I can only wonder what iOS 19 is going to introduce with Apple Intelligence. It's all in beta right now. So as time progresses, these AI features are going to become more and more powerful. So if you have a device that's not the iPhone 15 Pro Max and you really want to dig in with AI and want to future-proof yourself, then yes, go and upgrade to the iPhone 16 Pro Max or the iPhone 16 Pro, or even the standard iPhone 16s, because all of them will get Apple Intelligence. But at the end of the day, I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of the new iPhone 16 Pro Max or any of the new iPhone 16 models? Do you think it's worth upgrading from the previous generation iPhone 15 Pro Max? Whatever your thoughts are, whatever your questions are, leave them down in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and I'll catch you next time.